Hey guys, welcome to Badminton Fundamentals, and today I want to talk to you about the backhand shot. Two terminologies to start with. Anytime you find yourself rotating your forearm outwards, that's called supinate, and when you rotate your forearm inwards, it's called pronate. So whenever you're supinating your forearm, you're playing a backhand shot. So whenever you're pronating, it's a forehand shot. So any shot like this, here, 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 all of those are backhand shots. That, here, 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 and even here. Some people can do that. That's a forehand shot. All right. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to think about is the backhand grip. Now, I told you in the video where I talked about the grip. The backhand grip is where you have the thumb going on the flat side of the racket, straight with the handle, and you've got the index finger behind it. So let's think of it that way. You've got the index finger behind it. Can you see the tip of the index finger protruding on the outside? That is really your grip. The rest of it is just for support. So, thumb flat, index finger behind, just wrap the fingers around. This is something you must pay attention to. A lot of people just try and hold their racket like that when they're learning. Very bad idea. You've got to have the tip there. This is your grip. And when you're playing a backhand shot, you're actually playing mainly with a push from the thumb. But do not forget, in the video, the introduction video where I told you about a little exercise I asked you guys to do, I want you to think about the wrist, yeah? Anytime you find yourself doing this sort of thing with the wrist, bad idea. You will not learn to play very strong shots, especially on the backhand, yeah? You must make sure the wrist is locked. There are exceptions to everything, of course. When you're playing a smash, let's say, that's the only time when you have the wrist playing a tiny part. You see, it's just a tiny part, not very much. But we don't need to think about that when we're learning how to play the shots. So, the easiest one to start off with is probably the underarm. Now, keep your feet apart. We haven't talked about footwork yet. We haven't talked about the important elements of how you keep your feet and your upper body in balance. But you keep your feet apart, have your racket in front of you, elbow out in front of you. So we're playing an underarm backhand shot. Let the outside of the racket face the wall on your left if you're a right-hand guy. And of course, if you're a left-handed person, it's the opposite side. So here it is. Let's just think about this. So you've got your racket facing over there. Now, if I was to do this shot without the racket, you see the outside of my arm? I'm supinating and I'm now seeing the inside of my arm. Observe the elbow going out, and I finish off with my whole arm facing towards my object, my target. Yeah? So here's the racket. Watch how it just turns. I'm not thinking about the racket here. I'm just going to think about my whole forearm and just finish off there. Okay? Now, of course, there are various variations of the backhand shot. So let's say, I'm just talking to you about the exceptions really here. So if the shot comes to you really fast towards your body, it's much easier just to play the backhand here, yeah? Not forehand. It's so much harder to do that. When you do that, you'll probably want to end up with a panhandle grip anyway. But you don't want to be in that position. You want to be able to just play that backhand push with the thumb much easier. So, when you're playing a quick shot, you're not rotating the whole racket away. Yeah, you're just sort of pushing it out. Just let it out. Let it out in front of you. If you're playing a more distance shot, so a harder shot, you're going to clear from one side to the other, then you want your whole racket whipping around you. You see that? Now, if you took your racket from here just to there, you're not generating much power. If you now think about the racket head, so all you're doing is rotating your arm from there to there. Watch what happens to my racket when I do that. Do you see where it is? Let me show it to you on this angle. Do you see where it is? All I'm going to do is rotate my forearm. It goes from one side to the other. Now that, just by taking the head from there to there, has generated a lot of power. Now imagine you're taking one step into your shot and you're playing that shot. So what I've done now is doubled my energy already by just taking that one step towards the shuttle. Now if I take a little bit of a faster movement and I come in and play that shot, I have generated a lot of power just with my drag force and then finishing off with a tiny rotation. As I told you, when you play a distance shot, you have to rotate the racket head a bit more. But when you're playing a shot near the net, let's say, you probably want to just finish off with a half rotation. So here it is. I step in. Poof, a lot of power there. You might think it's not much, but a lot of power because I'm actually moving in and I've used my timing to finish off. Okay? Now, don't forget the timing of movement. We haven't talked about movement, but the timing of movement to the shot is very important. So, if I can just show you both sides. If I was to play a backhand shot, let's imagine I'm on this one side and I'm clearing it all the way to over there. I would just step out and just finish off here. See how I've rotated my racket from here to there? That's a lot of power. But if I was to just play a shot coming right to me, it would just be like that. But that's not very powerful. That's just somehow just returning the shot. But as soon as I'm ready again, I now step out and half rotate, finish over there. So the first one and second one would probably be here. Okay. Okay, so one of the simplest things you can learn, so if you're a beginner learning how to play these shots, one of the simplest things you can do is, obviously it helps to actually have understanding of both backhand and forehand by this point. But let's just think about the backhand, yeah? So you've got your racket and your angle. Just take your shuttle up into the air and just take the racket head down, just bring it back up, okay? Just bring it back up. It's just a half rotation. All that's happening with my forearm is just going like this, up and down, but it's rotating. Can you see how it's rotating? You can now see from your angle, but from my angle, I would see the back of my arm and then the inside of my arm. That's probably the starting point to learn how to rotate your whole racket, yeah, in front of you. Keep yourself moving. Even on the forehand, you do the same sort of thing. Take the racket head down, bring it up, okay? Just do it slowly. Just learn how to rotate, yeah? Rotate. You must make sure your wrist is locked at all times. All right, so the other thing you can do is find a wall. It's probably the best thing you can do. You don't need anybody else to actually help you with this, because if you were to get on the court with somebody who is better than you trying to play the shots and you can't send it over the net, they'll get bored and they'll probably not want to practice. So a wall is your best friend to learn how to play the backhand or the forehand. The backhand is the hardest to learn, remember. Okay, so find a target just above your head, which is easier. Don't go for a target too low at this point when you're trying to start out. You want to think about what you want to do. Have the racket in front of you, maintain that angle, drop the head, just push out, okay? Again, I'm going to show it to you without the racket. You want to come a bit closer. Without the racket. So here it is, just push out. Easiest thing to do, get your shuttle in your hand, let the racket go, okay? Just hold the shuttle, take it behind. It's like a bit like the service, okay? Just hold your shuttle, let the racket go. Do that as many times as you need for your mind to pick up that you take the racket, sort of, you see the back of your arm, take the racket in, just push out, and you see the inside of your arm. Now you notice that I'm trying to put a bit of energy into it. Okay, if I was to do a half shot, I haven't got much energy. So I'm trying to put a bit of energy so that the shuttle comes back to me. Okay, so here's my target. I'm just taking the racket away and just pushing it out in front of me. I'm not putting too much muscle power in here. This is all just the racket going from one side to another. Okay, here's the forehand. It's a similar sort of thing. Don't put too much muscle power. It's just take the racket away, bring it back in. Yeah, take the racket away, rotate out, rotate in. So let's do some more of that on both sides. Keep your feet apart. Find your target roughly above your head and just keep going for that side so it comes back to you. This wall is rather rough. When you have a rough wall, it makes it harder because the shuttle does not come back to where you would expect it. But it's also helpful because it means that you have to move a little bit to find that shuttle. Okay? Now, you need plenty of practice. Don't forget, it is not about 5 minutes here and 10 minutes there and then now I'm the best player in the world. You get on the court. It takes many, many hours of practice to get to a point where you can do something like this. Okay? I'm sure you can do a lot better than that. when you sharpen up. The lower you go, the faster you have to hit it, the harder you have to hit it. Now, let's think about all the other variations I told you about on the backhand. So I'm going to now adjust my shots from one point to another so I get the different shots. So I take it slightly higher and take it to the left side so I can get the shots coming in on my backhand. You're going to come in a bit closer. So on my backhand. That side, that side. So here it is. Take it up. Once you are comfortable with the other shots, take it up. Take it up. And by that, you're now learning how to play the overhead clear. Yeah? Take it up, hit it hard. You can do all sorts of things, but the key thing to think about is that you must keep your feet apart, rotate. Very important. Here's one where you're playing with the shuttle going behind you. Let's try that. Okay? All right, so I hope that gets you started with the backhand, and not just started, I hope this actually takes you way, way further than where you are right now if you're already a badminton player. I'm sure it will if you put in the practice. It takes a lot of practice, so let's summarize what we do. You make sure you take your elbow up into the direction where the shuttle is coming. So if you play overhead backhand clear, you take that elbow up there and you rotate your racket out. Now obviously the easiest way is just stand on the spot, take the elbow out and do that. But if you're playing a shot while you're running towards it, it helps to get that timing right and just land your foot after you've played your shot. I won't go to the advanced stuff right now. This is all designed for people who aren't able to play the simple backhand shots. If you don't learn how to play the simple shots, you'll never be able to play the harder shots. So elbow out into the direction of where the shuttle is, and then rotate the racket out. Okay? Try and fit in a bit of a step to your shot. Okay? Wherever you're playing a backhand shot, a step into it. Never just wait for the shuttle to come to you. Never just wait. Just step in. If you find you're trying to play a block near the net and the shuttle is above you, just step in and just play the shot. Okay? Now, thank you for watching the video. I'll put the links of all the other videos that I have, that forehand, service, etc., connected to this video. If you come to my channel on YouTube, I've called it Badminton Fundamentals, because the whole idea is for people to pick up the fundamental elements of badminton. You get plenty of other videos out there where you can do practices, where you can do the drills with other people, but I'm trying to teach you how you play your shots. See you later.